Welcome to Living Life Successfully with Sonja Busha. I am your host, and I'm so excited that you decided to join me and my guest here, my co-host, Michael Deckard. Could you please introduce yourself tonight, please?
Good evening. Good evening. How's everybody doing? My name is Michael Deckard in West Texas, and so thankful and grateful to be a guest of Dr. Boucher's. Looking forward to this fantastic evening and discussion points. Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. Hey, we want to ask you, if you would please just put your names in the chat box, put your information in there so that we can reach out to you later. If you have any questions, please put those in the chat box. Feel free. We're building a community here, and we're just excited about what we're doing, about reaching the masses through these different platforms that we have been blessed with. And I am excited also because, hey, this is what they call Black History Month, but God gave us the vision to call it Ebony Excellence Celebration Month. So that's what we're doing for these next Financial Fridays, or when you've seen us view that this is Excellence Ebony Celebration. And we are just celebrating a lot of our pioneers in the financial industry. And so that's what we've been doing, just highlighting them and giving you some information that you may already know, or information that you didn't know, and just giving them their props.
Right.
And so I'm excited about what we're doing in the cause, like I said, because we're in the business of, creating opportunities for individuals, educating and motivating them, Michael. And it's a great feeling because, we're offering a service, we're changing lives. So you'll hear me say that a
lot. Well, hopefully we're changing a lot of lives, so that way we got to say it a lot. Absolutely.
I know, absolutely. And so we've been, those who have been joining us, we have been, like I said, talking about the African Americans in the business and entrepreneurship, how they started the business. And if you were with us last, I mentioned a speech by Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., or Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when he was talking about 5 financial lessons. And I just want to recap if you didn't get a chance to hear, but what we have experienced. And we started off, before I say that, with the Willie Lynch, the making of a slave. We've talked about the Black Wall Street and how there were many different Black Wall Streets that have been created, but the most remembered one has been the one in Oklahoma. Right. And so we were excited about the great, experiences that they were able to overcome, and how they used their platform to build and to create, because we know they created out of necessity, which is actually what's happened even since, when did the pandemic start? 2020. We've seen a lot of businesses birth out of this COVID. So to all of my brothers and my sisters who have started their business, let's band together, because God has given us the mindset already and the creativity to just go forth in our purpose. So I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, keep striving, and don't give up, even when it seems hard.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So some of the lessons that he said was, number 1, don't wait for economic change. He said we've got to create it. And number 2 was financial freedom is worth fighting for. And like I said, even on our mission statement with our Freedom Equity Group, we're independent agents, but we always talk about freedom, financial freedom, or just freedom is worth fighting for. And I ask you tonight, isn't it worth fighting for? If you could do better?
Absolutely. It's worth living for, it's worth fighting for, and it's worth dying for. Exactly. We've had people that gave their lives. A lot of our forefathers that we will be showcasing, they were willing to give up their lives for the livelihood that they created. So absolutely, yes, it is, yes.
Right. And for those who are keeping up, number 3, sometimes you need to just step out on faith and take a risk.
Oh yeah.
You know, Michael, a lot of times we're scared to do that. We talk the talk. He says, walk by faith and not by sight. And we wanted to all just be there. But like I said, if God told us everything that we were going to have to, you know, go through, some of us wouldn't even do it. And that's our forefathers. They didn't know what was going to happen, but they were able to create a dynasty. Oh my gosh, a dynasty, empires that they left, you know, legacies. And it's up to us in this 20th century, you know, where we are this decade, to keep moving forward, to keep pressing so that we can do the same, you know, and leave a legacy for those who are coming up behind us.
Right. 21st century.
21st century. Thank you. And so number 4 was your education, job, or career status does not define you.
Not at all. Not at all. So many people get caught up in what they've gotten their degrees on. Some people have more degrees than a thermometer. And they think that they are somebody great because they have a lot of degrees or a lot of titles after their name, a lot of initials.
Yeah.
And that don't mean nothing. Not that it's not the educational piece that's not important, but that does not define you, your character, you know, your persistence to be able to push through hard situations, and your ability to, no matter how high you believe that you've achieved, that you can step down and stoop down and help somebody that may not have what you have. So yeah, all that other stuff, that's just a bunch of hype.
Yeah. And you know what, Michael, even with that being said about your job or career status does not define you. Even today, you find that people are changing careers. They're gotten into one career and figure out, hey, this is not what I want to do. I want to encourage our listeners tonight, if that is you and you're looking for something new to do, and you find, you know, you figure I want more time with my family. Not only that, I don't want to be in a place where there's a glass ceiling. We have something to offer you. We have business opportunities that we're able to help create. You can start over. We're in an $8.5 trillion industry, and people don't realize that this financial industry, I mean, we need more agents. We need more people that are able to spread the word and teach and educate and empower people like we're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that the numbers that we talk about in our presentation, all those numbers were prior to the pandemic.
Right.
So they said that 1980, that we had double the amount of agents and over 110 million less people. So we've had a fall off of how many people are part of our crusade.
Right.
And now there's even more of a need for individuals that are licensed, or even if they don't want to get their license, there's a way that they could be a referral agent and still make more money than in some jobs because of this industry. So, I mean, if you've been thinking about it or you've been praying about it, it's time to go and come talk to us. You can get with us. Leave your name in the chat. We'll get back with you. Schedule some time to show you what you can do to change some things. And it's that time. It is that time.
You know, and I say, don't be afraid. Don't be embarrassed, because people change their minds. They get older and figure this is something that I didn't sign up for, something that I didn't want to do. But I really like the fact that we get to be with our families. We get to, you know, take back our own time, because time is a commodity that we certainly cannot get back. So,
and that is the thing. No matter how much money you have, you can never buy you another second. That right there is powerful.
Exactly.
Powerful. Yes, ma'am.
Right. And number 5, Dr. Martin Luther King said to take your work seriously. Whatever you decide to do. I remember my mother used to say that her mother says, whatever you do, do your best at it. Don't half do it, don't lollygag, but be your best at whatever you choose to do. And I'm here to tell you, you know, we create, again, our purpose or our destiny by what we say.
Right, right. A lot of people don't realize that what they say, you know, they say things that they haven't thought about what they are saying. And then when they look up and they're dealing with a whole bunch of calamities and crazy stuff going on, then they may think back and realize, you know, because the words that they said is what created that environment. The biggest the biggest thing that I can think of recent history is my boy Steve Harvey. I listen to him on a regular basis, and he was saying that if you can remember, just a few years ago, he had like 4 or 5 television shows on, and he had a radio show.
Wow.
Well, he said that he was walking around and complaining to his wife and saying, "Man, I'm working too much, and they got me doing too much." He got 3 television shows or 4 television shows canceled. His radio show, he got fired off of his radio show,
Wow.
and so he looked around and he was like, "Man, hold up, what's going on?" Somebody came. He said he came to the Potter's house, and somebody told him, he's like, "Man, we miss you on the radio. We miss seeing television shows. What happened?" And he was like, when they asked him what happened, he said, "Well, I was telling my wife, man, they had me flying here and doing all of this other stuff. And I just told them, and they got me working too hard." So they was like, "So you brought that on yourself there based on what you said?" He was like, "Man," so it like really made him come to the realization, got to be careful about what you say. Got to. Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
I totally agree. Was to say, "To much is given, much is required."
Yep. To whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah. So whatever we're asking for and whatever we're praying for, or period, like you said, just be careful about what you ask for, or what you say, really. I always say, if you're following me on social media, mind your thinking. Be mindful of of your mind. Be intentional about what you not only think, but what comes out of your mouth, because out of the heart, what does it say, of a man
flows the issue of life. Yes. So if the thing about it is, we as a people have gone through so many painful situations, whether it's work situation that where we lost employment and we ended up losing money, and so you lost your house and had maybe got divorced, or it was a relationship thing that we've gone through, but we focused on it so much that we don't take a look at, what can be better. So if you walk around and all you do is talk about the bad stuff and talk about the bad times and talk about this and that, and always in the attitude of somebody that nobody wants to be around, that nobody wants to hear that on a consistent basis. So you may have to, they have a saying, if you can look up, you can get up. It's one thing if you can't look up, you may be in a position where you face down looking towards the ground. Hey, but if you can look up, all you have to do is make the decision that you want to get up and make the effort, because the Bible tells us that faith without works is dead. It ain't going nowhere. A lot of times, a lot of people want a lot of things, but they're not willing to put in the grind to get it. So if you come and talk to us, we can show you and share with some things with you that are available for you, that if you work half as hard as you work at your regular job, no matter what industry you're in. And then we're talking about the whole COVID changing people's careers. You got people that have worked in hospitals for their entire careers, nurses, doctors, anesthesiologists, even just the people that walk around and sweep and clean the hospital rooms. Those people have been exposed to COVID 24/7 for going on 3 years now. And that's crazy. So people are wanting to do stuff different. I talked to a group of doctors that had just come back from a Hawaii trip, and they were talking about, they were in their mid to late 40s, and they were talking about, man, we got to find something else to do, because they had been in the doctor's business for their whole lives. They went to school, for 12 years after school, and then started working. And because of the pandemic, they've gotten to a point where they regularly tap out, but they can't just walk away because they're too young to retire, and they want to make the money that they were making as doctors. We had to introduce them and tell them, hey, get your things in order. If y'all can get your doctorate degrees, you can pass an insurance license and exam and make just as much, if not more, and you don't have to do what you was doing. So this is a season of change. It's a season of change. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's absolutely up to you. I like what you said. You said make a decision.
That's got to make a decision.
and just get up and do it. Actually, it's a choice.
That's
So,
a choice. Yes,
mhm.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So without further ado, hey, one more time though, not one more time, but if you are just tuning in, I want to thank you. You're listening to Living Life Successfully with Sonja Busha. This is Financial Friday that we've been doing since the first of the year, actually.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and
February the 5th.
yes, something like that, huh? But the first of the year. And Financial Friday was birthed out of wanting to, like I said, reach the masses and start teaching and educating people on new ways, the new rules of money, new ways of doing business, about living benefits that people may not know about.
Right.
Just kind of introduce ourselves and let them, well, not kind of, but introduce ourselves and let them know who we are.
Right.
So I'm excited that you are tuning in, and just share this video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Living Life Successfully with Sonja Busha. But we're having Financial Fridays. And for this particular month of February, we have called it, go ahead and tell them.
Ebony Excellence Celebration Month. We want to change the name because it's the shortest month of the year. We've been calling it Black History Month for years, man. So it's a change. The pandemic has made us change the way we do business, right? We have to look at things from a different perspective. So we just collaboratively came together with the name of Ebony Excellence Celebration Month. Man, that sounds so pretty too.
It is. And what we're doing is highlighting pioneers that have been in the financial industry. And we chose this year or this month, because like I said, I think Black History Month, Ebony Excellence should be celebrated all throughout the year.
Every day.
Because we have so much history, Michael, that has been kept hidden. And, a lot of these books and things like that are just period. And if we get with our families who were born back, during slavery and still are living, we can find out so much valuable information that is still out there, that we just need to hear who we are, where we actually came from, and know that us melanated dominant people, we were born for greatness, and not take what has just been placed upon us or instilled in us. And
Absolutely.
so I believe that our people are being better enlightened, of course, and a lot of people are wanting to know, what happened, the facts and things like that. If you know your history, you know where you came from, it helps equip you to be able to move forward at a even faster pace and with confidence.
Absolutely.
So I just think this is something that we should do all the time, all history, but share our culture. And so, but we're highlighting what we have done over the past few years, or over, years, how we have dominated the industry. And it's excellent. I'm excited. So without further ado, I want to thank y'all for listening. Our first person, and we're going to go kind of backwards. Well, it's not backwards, but we're going to list right now number 4, which is, I'm going to give you a quote. This man said, "Find a need and fill it. Successful businesses are founded on the needs of people. Money is no good unless it contributes something to the community, unless it builds a bridge to a better life. Any man can make money, but it takes a special kind of man to use it responsibly." You want to tell them who that first person is we're going to talk about?
Let me see. That sounds like a gentleman by the name of Arthur G. Gaston.
Arthur G. Gaston, Arthur George Gaston. Ding, ding, you got it. Look at his picture. He was a handsome young man, I must say. He was Arthur George Johnson. And you know what was when I found out his date of birth? July 4th. He was born on July 4th, 1982.
1982?
No,
1892. There you go.
Thank you. Look right there in the front now. July 4th, 1892. He was actually born.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, but
he was born with a bang, huh?
He was firecrackers and everything if they were doing it. But he was.
They had cannons back then.
They had cannons.
Yeah, they didn't have fireworks back then. It was cannons.
So what they do, pick their ball up and load it in there and boom. So, hey, for those who don't know, but Arthur George Gaston, his middle name was George, and then his name was George, but was a millionaire entrepreneur who started the Booker T. Washington Insurance Company. And he started this in 1923. And what's crazy, I don't want to call it crazy, but when I read this, it says he started with $500.
$500. But back then, that would be like, 500,000. Back in the late 1800s, $500 was a lot of money. That was the money.
Yeah, I was like $500.
Yeah, most people run through that like they'll do $500 worth of fast food, Monday through Friday.
Right. So I thought that was pretty cool. He supported Martin Luther King too in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
Right. Stories are that he was the person responsible whenever they would lock Martin Luther King up and the people that were doing the marches or sitting at the counters when they would get locked up. Then Mr. Gaston would show up, and go and bail everybody out of jail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. He said, and I'm reading from Think and Grow Rich, or where I got some of my information from the book, and y'all should go pick up a copy too, Think and Grow Rich, but it's a Black choice. A Guide to Success for Black Americans by Dennis Kimbrough and Napoleon Hill.
Right.
Great information, good information in here. And plus I did some other research, but it was saying he decided to seek his fortune. He worked long and hard in Alabama steel mill. So he started there earning less than 30 cents an hour. I can't imagine 30 cents an hour today. 30 cents. And it says, having devised a plan to increase his lot, Gaston and his father-in-law launched a string of funeral parlors, which later grew into what is known as the Booker T. Washington Insurance Company.
Yeah, you got to realize too, the reason behind the funeral parlors, they was lynching and killing a lot of Black men.
Right.
So there again, the need and the necessity of a business burying people, he put himself in a good place.
Right. And one of his quotes, he said that I gave serious consideration to what I was going to do with my life. He said he wanted to be rich. So I thought, how does a poor Black man acquire wealth? And he says, simply by providing a useful service. So if you can come up with some type of service, something that everybody needs, and that's what you have to think, it's been placed in us.
Right.
And our community, when we have that service and we all come together, we can, exchange within even our own communities and provide those services for one another. And so at that time, he didn't have a need. And so he couldn't think of a service that was really needed. And so even as he began, through his childhood, his first business, which I found interesting, was he was raised by his grandmother.
Yeah.
And so he would go out on the back porch, it says, and he would play, and she had a swing. So in his neighborhood, he was the only one with the swing. So he got an idea, is what he did. His first business, a way to make money. So the kids would come by and he would charge pennies. He would get their pens, their candy, and he would acquire that from his playmates just to let them, let the swing on the swing. And so it said that this was his first lesson in economics.
That's crazy.
He was busy already. I know you probably have some stories too, some things that what we do to make money, just growing up, and already had the mind of an entrepreneur. It starts young, young at heart, because we tell our children, that they can create and what they could do.
Absolutely.
So, and Gaston, of course, created the Booker T. Washington Business College, which today is a fully accredited and supplies highly trained graduates for various positions in business and government throughout the nation. Then it says that he realized, this is really powerful, that his greatest gift was thinking. How many of our brothers and sisters actually think today, Michael? Man,
Well,
talked about that
they
earlier.
they really don't.
Uh-huh.
They spend less time thinking. They want to put themselves in a comatose state of mind where they
Mhm.
they watch a lot of television and a lot of gossipy kind of stuff, you
Mhm.
know, and that you're really not putting yourself in a good place. Whereas if you cut your televisions off,
Yeah,
turn your cell phones on vibrate, get off of social media, and just go to the park somewhere quiet and just think about some things.
hmm,
Think about some of the things that you need or want to have done, or think about some of the places that you haven't gone to but you might want to. This pandemic was a time out. We were forced. We need to think. We got to stop and think. And so God made us stop with the pandemic. But a
yeah,
lot of people get caught up. They get caught up with the television and all the other stuff, and they're not using the most powerful computer that was ever created was our mind.
right. Wow. And that's so true. So we have to get back to thinking. We have to get
Right.
back to retraining our minds so that we can create the businesses that have been placed in each one of us. And I think that's so awesome that he had one of the largest. It says his business, the insurance company, was estimated at $30 million, which included the Smith and Gaston Funeral Home, the
Hmm.
Gaston Model, and the Citizens Federal Savings and Loan.
That's a bank.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So he was very successful, and I'm very proud to say, that he represented our community, our, people very well. He was a thinker,
Right.
which is
Right.
awesome.
That's my kind of dude.
I know. And what else did I want to share with Gaston? Let's see here, his business growth. Well, we already said he supported Dr. Martin Luther King.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, so he loaned money to individuals, and he just, while he was working in the mines, he got that idea and
Mhm.
he came up with burial insurance, to the co-workers, to the people while he was working in the mine, which you mentioned earlier.
Right.
So
Right.
I think
Crazy.
that's awesome. Yes. Um, I'm trying to find okay, here's the address of his funeral home. It was in Birmingham, like we said.
Mhm.
And so that was the location.
Okay.
And I think, what else did I find out on him? Yeah, it was located at 1728 3rd Avenue North, Birmingham,
Very good.
Alabama.
Going on the fourth, address on the third.
So yes, so he experienced tremendous growth. Okay, so
Right.
he's number 4. And if you have any questions about him, and I'm glad that we found some, as we were studying or I was researching, it's great to know that we had some African American, melanated dominant brothers, sisters, brothers coming up with this industry. They were already got a wind of it and knew how important it was, the financial industry, and they knew how important it was from even experience. And
Right.
you did a presentation about sharing it with your family. We got to get out there and tell those that are closest to us. And he saw a need as those people were dying. They didn't have a place to go bury, their
Right.
families. Mhm.
Right. That's the thing about it is that we take so many things for granted, right? Especially those that have had the opportunity, to have an easier life where things haven't really had to be that hard, or they didn't really have to work that hard, or they didn't really have to go out of their way.
Yeah,
That's created a mindset to make people be passive and lackadaisical. And if they can't have it in a microwave minute, they don't want it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so, you know, these individuals that we have as our examples, they I can't even imagine how they did what they did during that time frame. Man, those dudes, to be able to start a savings and loan bank, to start an insurance company and create a funeral home parlor, that's crazy. But you got people now, and if they can't have it like right now, they quit. They just stop. because they get a little bit of opposition or 5 people told them no. Man, come on, man. That just don't make no sense to me. Because to be a man of color back then, they could have gotten lynched. They could have been robbed and been, just left in the middle of the road for dead, and nobody would have said anything, right?
Right.
But they didn't make that be the reason why they didn't still push forward and go and do what needed to be done in their community for their folks.
Right.
Been turned away from that, man. We got to go back. We got to go. Gotta go.
That's crazy. And like I said, I'm glad to know that we have some great men and women who supported one another, who were able to start these industries. And like I said, 30 cents a day. Oh my gosh, that's
30 cents an hour.
Yeah. 30 cents an hour. That's still ain't good.
Still not a lot. Yeah. That's $2.40 a day if he worked 8 hours. That's crazy.
And so without further ado, tonight, like we said, AG, or Arthur George Gaston, was a great man. He started the industry. He supported the civil rights movement financially, which is awesome. And as we come together, we should be able to support, some things going on in the community, support other, big initiatives. And, I know National Life, they have something called Build.
Yeah.
We go out into the communities and we're educating our melanated dominant brothers and sisters because they actually are a lower ratio, they're lower in the pole of understanding what these products can do for them, and how not only it's not just for burial purposes, but how it can actually create a economic change in their lives. And so that's what we want to get that out to them too. It's a multi-purpose thing for them now. Like I mentioned, when we first started our 90-day push or started Financial Friday, we have an instrument that can actually change the trajectory of your life if you get the correct product. We actually have a product that's on steroids.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I call it. So.
It's crazy because when you take what people have been doing for the years that have done it, because most of the time in our community, when somebody passes, it's always a GoFundMe account or everybody on Facebook doing whatever they can do to raise the money to bury them. But for what's available to us and has been, but now we're coming enlightened to the fact that there's a policy that you can invest in and it can give back to you hundreds folds more than what you give into it, right? So not only would it protect you from when you ever pass away and your family gets the benefit of that, but most cases in today's times with the new modern medications and things that people do, they're going to live to be long, older, right? Most people are living to their mid 80s, late 80s, mid 90s. Some people even into their hundreds. And so, if you're protected with the right product, if you got a chronic illness or critical illness or terminal illness, you could actually get paid monies up to 90% of the face value of these types of policies. Or if you don't get sick and you live to your retirement age, you can be prepared by having tax-free income. Those are the three main facets, but there's so many other things that can be unlocked, Shade, and most people don't know. They can become their own bank. Now, the tax season is the most prominent time for people to get excited because they're going to get the money that they gave too much to the government. They're going to get it sent back to them, right? So now they're going to go and they're going to look at cars, big screen televisions, and buying new bedroom sets and all that kind of stuff, right? If they were to take that money and invest in an index universal life policy, that could potentially change their life, where they could go and they could borrow from their own policy.
Yeah.
Did y'all, they don't even understand what
I don't know if they understand that. Be their own bank.
Be their
own. Don't have to worry about being approved or, turned down.
Yeah. No credit check, none of that stuff, right? Now you still need to get your credit tight. There's other things that your credit can assist you with.
Yes.
right? But I mean, that's 4 or 5 different ways that one policy could be beneficial to them. And so I just, man, I just really want to be on a crusade.
Yeah.
I want to make a difference, and these types of policies can do just that. They can make a difference.
Exactly, exactly. So, hey, if you have a policy and you're wondering, does my policy work like this for me? Is this something that I have? I encourage you tonight, go and pull out those policies. If you have them in your safe box, I don't know where you keep them at, your lock box, safe, you know, wherever you have them, go.
When do they need to do that, Busha? When do they need to do that?
Tonight, yeah, like now, Faith, right now, this moment, go find those policies. And if you don't know what you're looking at and you just want to be real sure, hey, put your information in the what? Chat box. Chat box. And don't, I mean, and it's okay if you don't understand the terminology or what it is. That's why we are here. We are professionals at what we do. We have been certified. And so put your information in there or contact me on any one of our social media platforms. My phone number or our phone numbers are listed. So call us, set up an appointment. You can go to calendly.com/Coach Sonja Busha. I like saying that. But the information is here. Just, you know, take time to write it down, of course. And it's at the end of the show. But make sure you get with us. Even we will let you know if you have the best thing, you know, in place, because we just want to make sure you're covered and make sure you have the new type of insurance and learn about the new rules of money, if anything. We can do, and of course we've gone virtual, so in a lot of places, but we're also seeing businesses, and this is just not for individuals. So if you have a small business or a large business of any size, and you need us to come out, please contact us. Yeah. Please, because we want to make sure we set you up just right. Absolutely. And so, yeah, again, hey, this is Living Life Successfully with Sonja Busha. This is our Financial Friday. We are talking about Ebony Excellence Celebration Month and highlighting the pioneers in the financial industry, because we are in a, go ahead, what type of industry? 8.5?
8.5 trillion with a T.
Yes.
Dollar industry. And just newsflash, Busha, right? We have some of the industry greats, the co-founders of our company, Chairman Ron Blumenkemper, President Bill St. Clair, and CEO Ron Petranovich. Those gentlemen are holding the vault door open and inviting us. We have a special invite. The African American community, we have a special invite, y'all. They are telling us that they will hold the door open and help us get the barrels and the trucks and the trains and the bus loads of money out. They're doing it. Yeah. We've got some individuals that have been a part of our company for less than 6 months and have made over $200,000 that they brought home. Come on, y'all. Let's go get it. Let's go get it.
Level playing field. So
level playing field, no ceilings. That's the thing. The playing field could even be uneven, because even on a football field, there's some areas, you know, there's some dry wood spots on a basketball court, a baseball diamond. There's some levels of the grass may be a little higher than the other. So the level playing field, okay, but the no ceiling, that's the part, y'all. That means there's no limit.
Nope.
No limit, like my boy Master P. No limit, baby. Yeah, that's what I'm
No limit. With that being said, we just want to thank you for joining us tonight, and make sure you stay tuned and join us for the next Ebony Excellence Celebration person that we will be featuring for their insurance company, or whether it's their finances. Just stay tuned.
You never know.
You never know.
Come and find out.
Okay. Well, Michael, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you all for joining us tonight on Living Life Successfully. Make sure you go and subscribe to all of our platforms. I am on Facebook, Twitter, IG, which is Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, because we don't want you to miss any information. In fact, you can put your email in the chat box as well, because we will be starting either a monthly or a quarterly newsletter, because we just want to get the information out to you. And I have almost forgot a special announcement for those who are interested in taking your business to another level digitally, virtually. It's going to be a different world on March 5th, 2022, starting at 11, almost said PM, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time.
Right.
Check out the Zoom, check out the video in the very end, and make sure you come. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be Zoom. Our super virtual, or was it virtual super Saturday? Make sure you come and join. We would love to help you grow. And if you're looking for a business opportunity, franchise, something like that, you don't want to miss. Make sure you join us on March 5th, 2022. 5th.
Yeah. And 2 weeks, 1 day. 2 weeks, 1 day. Make you wait. Let's get that.
All right. Well, we're going to go out to our song here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you received a lot of great information. I'm having so much fun. We're just sharing anytime I come before you. Again, thank you for your support. We will see you next time. You are listening to Living Life Successfully with Sonja Busha. Thank you.
Woo! Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Woo! Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out. Bring them out, bring them out.